Should I do a candle?
Do you want a candle? Yep.
Oh no, it's following you now. It's following your butt. Babe, move your butt to the right. Oh my god, it's actually following your butt.
You didn't put on your mic.
Oh.
What are you gonna wish for?
I'm gonna wish for everyone to have a wonderful, blessed life. You sing a song for me?
No.
Ready? And done.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Yay! So Louis is gonna help me cut the cake. Thank you, baby. Hold on, give them a close-up of it. It's a fruit cake.
Yeah.
A nice little fruit cake. Very cute, very light. Yummy. Okay, thank you. Okay, so with this video, to thank you guys for 10K subs, I am doing a Q&A. You guys have asked me questions on YouTube, social media, and I'm going to answer the questions honestly and as detailed as I can. But before I do that, I think because it's 10,000 subscribers, I wanted to match it with 10 things that I've learned since moving to Hong Kong. And the first one is cost of living. I had no idea that moving to Hong Kong, things could get even worse than how expensive things are in Toronto. Who would have thought? One of the main things that kind of shocked me was that not only are things really expensive here, but the space is so tiny. I'm sure you can tell by the old apartment that we lived in, the shoebox. A lot of these units here are really subdivided. And even that, in our case, was so much privilege because there are many people in other areas of Hong Kong that live in worse conditions, unfortunately. So I'm not sure what's going on with the housing market. I think the wealth gap is just too big. Even if you're running a business, rent is much more expensive because of the limited space that we have here, a high population density. And then groceries as well. I'm so used to walking into a huge grocery store like Walmart, Loblaws, Food Basics, Freshco and all that and be able to find such a variety of groceries for a decent price. I know it was getting pricey in Toronto before I left. But here, the max size of a grocery store that we've been to was probably the size, like not even a quarter of a regular Walmart. And then the prices are even worse. For eggs, it's around, if you're going to a Marks and Spencer's, which is a very popular British brand, for a carton of large eggs, it's 80 Hong Kong dollars, which is like $15 Canadian. Am I doing the conversion right? Divided by 5.5 or something, so approximately around there. Don't hate on my math, but that was insane to me. The second thing that I've learned since moving to Hong Kong is having to go outside your comfort zone and taking chances even if you're not ready. So I think this was one of the main lessons that I've learned, despite the location where I moved to, but moving across the world, starting new chapters, reaching out to a random gym, which is now my dream team, incorporating Pilates, content creating, and meeting new people. I found that that has really pushed me outside of my comfort zone as an introvert and as someone who just is really comfortable in my own routine. I hate having to change a lot of things in my routine. And so I think doing so many changes at once was very overwhelming. But I think the first week that I started living in Hong Kong, I got so bored being at home that I just started reaching out to gyms close by and started emailing them, hey, I'm just this random Canadian girl. You know, here's my backstory. I was an ultrasound tech, but now pivoted into fitness as my career and I want to help people. But then I'm now in Hong Kong. Is there any job opportunities? And luckily, the gym that I currently work at, the owner messaged back. And now I'm doing both strength training, nutrition, and Pilates. So that has been really fun. And I think if it wasn't for me reaching out to people and just kind of putting myself out there, I wouldn't have the opportunities that I have now, and especially with 10K subs. Never would I have thought that I would get 10K subs. So thank you guys. Let's go to 100K. The third thing that I've learned since moving here is that hustle culture is so prominent. I used to think that the hustle culture was crazy in Toronto with people having a full-time and almost a side gig as well to make ends meet. But here, most people are working 6 days a week or not even 7 days a week, longer hours. I think because there's a good finance industry here, a lot of people are really hustling to get work opportunities. Although there are more opportunities here in terms of work, I think. I just think that the mindset here is like go, 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 work longer hours, work harder, and kind of have no concept of rest almost. I just feel as well walking around the city, I can just feel a lot of stress leaking out of people, and so that's a big difference. In Toronto, at least on a summer day, you would walk around, people are happy to end work early and go to the park or something. So that's been really interesting. And because hustle culture is so prominent and I work in an industry where I only get paid if I'm with a client, it's really hard to be able to balance my rest and my boundaries. So I think that has been a big lesson for me as well, is to respect rest and respect boundaries. And you know what? You're more than your career. I think that's a big lesson I'm learning recently. You're more than your career. It's okay to be ambitious, but that doesn't mean that you have to neglect yourself and your health as well. And then the fourth thing that I've learned since moving to Hong Kong is that there's so much to the world. You need to explore and just enjoy new experiences. I get it. If you're an introvert, you're a homebody, like do what you want. But as someone who is also a homebody and introvert, I think there's so much to see in the world and so much to learn and change your perspective, you know, see different how people live, see different experiences, learn new things. Like life is too short to just be in your own bubble. And so living in Hong Kong, I'm luckily to have been able to travel around Asia, see how different lifestyles are here, meet people from all walks of life. I think that has been the most interesting. All my clients are literally from around the world. Just being open-minded to new experiences, meeting new people, and just kind of learn along the way and have fun while you're at it. Don't need to close yourself off. That's something I also commonly do. I'm very shy, so I tend to close myself off very easily, but I'm trying to work on that, but also respect that, yeah, it's okay to be shy sometimes too. And the fifth thing that I learned since moving to Hong Kong, which is very, very important for me in my heart, I think I'm saying that for all the points, but you get the point. Cherish quality times with loved ones, because life is too short to not spend time with your loved ones. And being away from home, a 16-hour flight from my parents, my friends, my brother, it has been really hard to say that, oh, I'm very homesick. I can't just easily hop on a plane and fly to Toronto. It's not like when I was in university, I was only an hour or so away from home and I could just easily train back or drive back. But now it's just so different. The distance is very prominent, especially with my very close friend all the way in New Zealand as well. Hi, Sue. Has been hard as well. So yeah, really take the time. I know life gets busy and you want to do your own thing, but honestly, life is way too short. You never really know when you'll get the next time to hang out with your loved ones, so please do. Sixth thing that I've learned is the weather is so different. Like, I had no idea I could sweat, be so hot at the same time, and feel like I'm drenched with water. Because I always assume that when you're wet, it's cold or it's rainy. But here, you're literally all the above. It's so crazy, and I feel so nasty all the time in the summers, and summers last pretty much all year round. But luckily right now it's cooling down, so I'm very grateful. But I'm very, very used to having 4 seasons. That's one tricky thing about living in Hong Kong, is that it's basically summer or fake fall. People call it winter here, but I'm like, no, this is not winter, because I'm used to snow, negative 20 degrees. And to be fair, I actually miss the cold weather. I think I'm more of a cold weather person than a hot weather, just because I like layering up and I don't like sweating. And I miss the fall colors. I'm a huge fall person. Might be because I'm a fall baby, but I miss seeing autumn leaves change color. They start to fall. You can go out, pumpkin patch, apple picking, stuff like that. The 7th thing that I am noticing and learning a lot since moving to Hong Kong is that transportation is so different. TTC is so ass. So if the director of TTC is watching this, you guys need to fix yourself, because it's so bad. I don't get how we're not learning from other countries that are making it so efficient, convenient, and safe. Because MTR here, the subway, is so convenient. I feel so safe. The train is always on time. There's one train like every 2 minutes. You can get so far and you only need 1 line or 2 transfers. Where in Toronto, you take one bus, you transfer to another bus, have to take the subway, and then after that subway, you take another bus and you have to walk. It's just very inconvenient. And we also have barriers here too. Before the subway comes, the doors are closed, and then once it's here, the doors open. So it's a big safety thing too. I still don't know why TTC does not have that. And one thing I do miss, despite transportation being very, very convenient here with the MTR, buses, ferries, I do miss being able to drive around. That's one thing we don't really do here, or most people don't really do unless you live farther out of the city center. But I miss being in a car in our own space and just blasting music and kind of singing along or having private chats. That's one thing I do miss. And the Ubers and taxis just make me very car sick. So that's the main difference. Good thing is that Hong Kong is a very walkable city. Not only is it safe, but I feel there's a good mix of city life and nature. So you get the best of both worlds. Whereas Toronto, unless you're in downtown, it's not very walkable because you have to Uber everywhere, drive, or take transit. Sometimes, depending on the day or the area, it's not very safe at all walking in downtown. Eighth thing that I've learned in Hong Kong is there is a difference in food culture. Not so prominent, but the fact that Toronto is more diverse, in my opinion, just because here we lack a lot of Mediterranean, Middle Eastern, and Jamaican food. I have yet to find a Jamaican beef patty here, and I'm very sad about that. But the Hong Kong food scene is still good. It seems to be on the pricier side unless you go to the local food spots or the food courts. It could be cheaper. The great thing about food places here, most you don't necessarily have to tip. Only if you're in the fancier upscale restaurants, they do add a service charge, but I feel there's less pressure to tip compared to tipping in Toronto, which is, I think, crazy because owners should be paying their employees livable wage anyway, so why are we paying it? The ninth thing that I've learned since coming to Hong Kong that I feel that you might appreciate in general, it's not something that I have experienced specifically, but education is different. So I think education, having done all of my education in Toronto or Ontario per se, most of it is subsidized for local residents, and then the fee is different. Depending on what program, and you have OSAP, you can get student loans, and it's easy and affordable for the most part. You have scholarships, and I think schools also focus on extracurriculars in addition to the academics. And Hong Kong, it seems that school is very expensive starting from the get-go. Like I have a few clients that their kids pay for international school, which is private school. They pay anywhere from 8K plus per month. And 8K is around, what is 8K? More than 1,000 CAD per month for school. And this is can be as young as a 3-year-old. You're paying that much for a 3-year-old every month. So I think that's pretty insane. Although I think the education is good here in terms of the quality, they are very academic driven. So I see that a lot of students are very stressed. I have friends who grew up in the local system that said it's very stressful, very competitive. I know apparently you have to start applying for your kids' school even when they just came out of the womb because things are very competitive. You have to do interviews and all that, pay money, application fees, etc., etc. So I think that is pretty insane, and it feels a little bit too hectic. I think kids should just focus on having fun. I don't get why we need to force them into a competitive environment in such an early age, but that's just how things seem. I think people in Hong Kong really care about status, it feels like. And so titles are very important. And I think your resume, whatever, is also very important to see. So yeah, but I've heard there's also more opportunities, so I'm not too sure what that's like. And the last and final thing, talk about healthcare in Hong Kong. So things that I've learned, which I think is very important as someone who used to work in healthcare, but also someone who needs access to healthcare. In Toronto, you have the gist of free healthcare, you pay with your taxes. If you want to see a specialist, you can get a referral and it's free, but you just have a long waiting time. So I feel I'm more used to that system. Whereas here, there's dual systems, so there's public and there's private. I think for public hospitals, it's not entirely free unless maybe you have insurance or you're a local, but it's more affordable and crowded and also a longer wait time. Whereas you have private hospitals where you have the option to pay for your service, less wait time, you'll get apparently better quality care, but it's crazy expensive. I remember I went in for a strep throat at a walk-in clinic, and I think I paid it's $1,000 to treat to get medication and for a consult, and that's 200 CAD just for one visit. And when I was seeing my dermatologist, which was a private clinic, I paid 2.5K per visit, including the medication and the consult. And the annoying thing is, even if it's a follow-up, you're always having to pay the consult fee, and the consult fee is usually a hefty sum. So that's what kind of annoys me. And I'm like, I don't know if they want to actually help me or they want me to come back and pay, So yeah, so that's been very different. So thank you for listening to my mini spiel of 10 things I learned since moving to Hong Kong. If there's anything that I've talked about that piqued your interest or you want to know more, please let me know in the comments. And I'm also sorry if I sounded like I was rambling, but I really want to just express my experience so far in Hong Kong, and you'll definitely get more as I continue to vlog Hong Kong vlogs. Taste testing of the cake first. Strawberry. I like it when cakes are very airy and light. And you add fruit on it, the best. 10 out of 10 cake. Thanks, baby.
No problem.
If you guys can't tell, Lewis is right here supporting me. Want to say hi? He's shy, guys. Give a thumbs up if you want to see Lewis in the next video. Yeah. First question. How did you and your partner meet? This was actually asked anonymously, so I'm very curious of why it was anonymous. But hey, no judgment. Don't be shy. I would never judge. Just ask me whatever. Not whatever, you know. Make sure it's appropriate and kind. So Lewis and I actually met at the club. So I'm here dancing with my friends, and I see some creepy ass guy staring at me. I'm like, who is this? I'm kidding, guys. We actually just met off Hinge, so it's a dating app that we both use in Toronto. I was unlucky and had very bad experiences on Hinge, and I was so close to giving up. But then right when I went on the app and I was gonna delete my account forever, I saw one last like. I'm like, let me just see before I delete. And it was Lewis's page, and I thought he was a catfish because all of his pictures had nothing that was showing his face until the last video where he was showing a failed bench press, and I found that really goofy and funny, and I like that in a person. So we matched, talked, and here we are. Next question. Favorite Pilates move and why? I think there's so many, considering that there's so many different equipment as well. And then there's group class setting, private. Okay, stop rambling. My favorite Pilates move is probably the walk over, split, and tuck and roll. I'm not sure if that's the exact name. But yeah, that's what. I'll pin it here so you can see. I think I like it a lot because it was something that my own friend / Pilates trainer has progressed me on from the beginning of our journey. And it was always something that I was so scared of doing and never thought I'd be able to do it. So I think it's just a cool movement to do, to really challenge my flexibility, strength, and control. And it just feels so good afterwards. Most rewarding things about being an instructor. I think the most rewarding part is being able to meet so many different people from so many different walks of life and being able to connect with them on a deeper level in terms of helping them with movement, but helping them feel good. I think the main thing I like about being in fitness is I don't care if you have six-pack abs. I don't care if you can lift 5,000 pounds. What I care is that you have finally passed through that challenge of not being to doubt yourself and just finding that you are stronger than you think. And so once people unlock that, it makes me very happy to see, oh wow, they can actually do it. And moving forward, they just get stronger and stronger. Top 3 things you want to de-influence people about in fitness and Pilates. Stop listening to these fake influencers online, guys. I'm kidding, but still. Don't listen to all these BS tips on, oh, if you're in this phase of your period, do this. You have to make sure that whatever you're taking in online is credible. Do your research, do what's best for you. That's one thing that I want to say. The second thing is that you have to look a certain way to do a certain activity. For example, having a Pilates body. That irks me so much, even saying it. If you have a body, you can do Pilates. You don't need to look a certain way. You don't need to have a certain aesthetic. Everyone can benefit from Pilates. If you like it, do it. If you don't, then it's okay. And then the third thing is pinning strength training with weights and Pilates against each other. It makes me so angry when people are like, oh no, you should do Pilates, it's much better than strength training, or oh, lift weights because then you're gonna, Pilates doesn't do shit, or do Pilates if you want a lean, skinny body frame, or do weightlifting if you want to be bulky. It just doesn't work like that. There's different benefits to different types of movements, so just leave it at that. I can go on forever about this, but you see me rant a lot on my Instagram, so I'll pause that here. But yeah, that's the top 3 things I want to de-influence people about in fitness and Pilates. Favorite activewear brand? That one's hard. Used to be Lululemon, but it's so crazy expensive in Hong Kong for no reason. And then I used to be Honor Active, but now I just can't buy any stock anymore, so I'm just at a standstill, and I've taken a pause. I haven't bought anything recently. Actually, I lied. I bought some Lululemon recently. Whoopsies. But those two, I would say, are top. I want to try new brands, but I get scared of the quality and stuff like that, and it's not like I need any more activewear at the moment. So I guess I'll just say those 2 for now. How do I achieve getting a big bunda? Help us this out. Okay, I know who asked this, so this one's for you. Eat enough protein. Make sure you're eating enough in general. Balanced meals. Do your leg days, but progressively overload. I know people say that all the time. Progressively overload, what is that? That's really, all you really need to do is gradually increase the weight, challenge yourself so your muscles get stronger, and grow. So let's do some hip thrusts, RDLs, hip abductions, glute extensions, etc., etc. If you want to know more, guys, I also do one-on-one personal training. Link below. Or if you want more videos on fitness, please let me know as well. I'd be happy to. How do you warm up and cool down? What exercises do you do? For my warm-ups, I generally do a lot of mobility exercises that target, if it's a leg day, I do lower body. If it's an upper body day, I do upper body. If it's full body day, I do like a full body flow. A lot of my warm-ups or mobility flows I do post on my Instagram, so feel free to check that out. And then for cool down, to be honest, I don't really cool down. Sometimes it's really bad, but I try to stretch at the end of my workout. How did matcha become your thing? To be honest, I have no idea. Maybe when I moved out. I think I had phases during my time as an ultrasound tech where I would drink matcha occasionally, and then it didn't really click until I moved out of my parents. And I acknowledged that coffee made me really anxious and jittery, so I need to switch to something else. And I started my obsession with the color green. Because I'm like, oh, I like tea and green, so let's just bring matcha together. Sorry, not bring it together, but let's just drink matcha and be a fanatic. So that's how my origin started. Hi, I'm Gina, and I'm addicted to matcha. What's your favorite boba order? My go-to boba order would either be, it's different. When I was back in Toronto, I would always go to Cha Time. I would either get these 3 things: matcha milk tea, passion fruit QQ, or the Thai milk tea. But here, Cha Time is so different for some reason. There's only one as well. But my go-to is either Haiti's matcha supreme with pearls or Chicha Sanchen's classic milk tea. Less sugar, less ice, am I right? What's your favorite matcha latte combination? Favorite matcha latte combination? The classic, was soy milk. Or lately, I've been really liking mixing it with Hong Kong milk tea. I lied. I really like mixing it with Earl Grey. Earl Grey soy milk. You know when you infuse the Earl Grey tea bags into the soy milk overnight, you mix it with your matcha? Delicious. I have a question about Toronto. Which food place do you miss the most from Toronto? Not gonna lie, I miss Congee Queen. I know that sounds kind of ironic because I'm in Hong Kong with a lot of Chinese food, but there's just something about the Canadian smoked salmon fried rice at Congee Queen that just hits, and I've never found it here. It's not really a place per se, but one thing I do miss in terms of food scene in Toronto is the Jamaican beef patties. Yes, I miss that. Okay, and then someone asked, any show recommendations? Depends on what vibe. I usually try to look for lighthearted shows. Main show recs, Friends, if you want a nice-hearted, light show. Ooh, Abbott's Elementary is really good. And The Rookie. Those 3 I'm going to say for now. 2026 goal. Oof, that's a good one. Okay, this is going to sound very generic, but I want to be able to have a better work-life balance where I'm able to focus on myself and my own projects that I want to do. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But also be able to thrive in my career as well. And spend more time with loved ones, even though I'm far away, but really want to take opportunities to see my family and friends more often. Top 3 things found in your bag. Ooh, in my bag. Vaseline, wallet, keys. Do they go together? Wallet, keys, and phone. Those are top 3 things I always have to have with me, or else I feel very unprotected and unsafe. Next time. If you guys really want to know what's in my bag, I'll do another video on that too. What do you think of weight loss drugs like Ozempic and others? I think it's cheating for people who are too lazy to get serious about their fitness work. This is, or could be, a very heavy topic to talk about. And what I think may not necessarily be what someone else thinks, but we also want to try to keep it evidence-based as well. So I'll try to keep my things as factual as I can. But from my opinion, and this is not medical advice whatsoever, I think that Ozempic and other weight loss drugs aren't necessarily a cheat code. And I understand that people may abuse it, which isn't great, but they do have a benefit. It's for people with medical conditions, right? It's for people with diabetes. If they need to take medication, then they have to take medication. We can't pin them against that. The main thing with Ozempic is that it does help with insulin levels. It helps balance out your digestion and your hunger, reduces your appetite actually. And so I think it's not the whole fix, because even though you lose weight from not having too much of an appetite, you still have to adjust your lifestyle factors to not only keep the weight off, but also improve your health. Because the minute you come off of the medication, then you'll just bounce back. So I don't necessarily think it's cheating and that people are lazy and that's why they take it. I mean, people have their own different reasons of taking medication. I wouldn't know, but that's just my neutral stance. It's like, if it works for you and you have to take it under medical supervision, by all means. If you don't and you're doing it for the wrong reasons, then maybe we should just reevaluate your lifestyle factors. How to move to Hong Kong as a Canadian. So the process of my move was actually pretty straightforward, despite me going back and forth with the admin office of the visa office, So I had to apply for what was called the Top Talent Scheme visa. And essentially the requirements for that is you need to have graduated from their top 100 list of university. Top 100 university list, And then the second requirement was you have to have at least 3 years of full-time work experience. And so luckily I had both. I think McMaster was one of the top 100, and then I had 3 years of work experience after graduation. And then through that, you pay a small fee, you fill the application with your personal details, and then they get back to you with a decision within a few weeks. I got mine pretty early, but then I wasn't sure that I was going to go, so that application expired, so I had to reapply. But I think they saw my previous application. I was like, oh, why did you apply again and not come, and then et cetera, so there was a lot of back and forth. But luckily, after all that, I was able to come through. How did you have the courage to move to Hong Kong? Honestly, I didn't really have much courage, other than the fact that I knew that Lewis was here, which was very helpful. If he wasn't here, to be fair, I don't think I would be here either. So I think I'm very blessed to have him be here already and set everything up. And all I have to do was just fly. Can you see yourself living in Hong Kong long term? Yes and no. I say yes because we are very comfortable in our routine at the moment as a couple. But I think when we want to discuss future long-term plans in terms of starting our own family, then that's when it gets tricky, because we do want to be closer to family. We want to have a bigger space, have a front yard, backyard, a proper house. But it also depends what we want for our kids in the future in terms of education, quality of life, a lot of things to think about. So short answer is we're not sure. Where are your top 3 places to eat in Hong Kong? Top 3 off the top of my head is probably Moyo, which is a Korean Italian fusion place, Chom Chom, which is a nice modern Vietnamese restaurant, and Lavash. Lavash is so good. Their fries are addicting. I have no idea what they do with it, but they have unlimited fries. That's why we always go. But Lewis goes for the steak. And then the touristy classic spot we always try to go, that's one of our favorites, is Australian Dairy Company. Classic. Very good simple food and good Hong Kong milk tea. So that's top 4. What country are you from and why move to Hong Kong? So I'm actually from Canada and I was born and raised in Toronto. Why did I move to Hong Kong? I moved to Hong Kong because Lewis came here first 6 months before I did for a good job opportunity. And I think not only did I hate long distance relationships, but I was just finishing up my second degree in nutrition and I was kind of contemplating, what do I want in life? I'm not sure what to do after this. So I thought, you know what? Let's just see what Hong Kong is like. I feel like I had a lot of FOMO seeing Hong Kong through Lewis's eyes. So I'm like, you know what? I want to experience for myself too. And so now we're here. What's your favorite part of living in Hong Kong and how does it compare to Toronto? I think the most important thing I always say to people when they ask me this is that I really like how things are super safe and convenient. When I'm walking like midnight, I never feel unprotected or unsafe. I always feel that I can do whatever, not really have to think about things either. I can just carelessly walk the streets and not have to worry about anything. Whereas that, if I compare that, if I walk downtown at night or in the evening of Toronto, I would always have to be on edge, kind of like one earphone out, one earphone in, just to be more aware of my surroundings. Here, it's more carefree in that sense. I think there's so much to do in this city as well. You could never get bored in Hong Kong because there's a nice city life, but also good nature. A lot of hikes, mountains, you're by the ocean. You get a mix of everything. So I think those are the favorite parts of living in Hong Kong and something you can't really get in Toronto. As a fitness coach, what is the biggest difference between work in Canada and Hong Kong? I touched this topic really briefly in my 10 things that I've learned in Hong Kong, and it's work-life balance. I think in Canada, from my personal experience, it could be different for everyone, but I think I had a better work-life balance in Canada. Maybe I didn't even work as hard either. I'm not just working harder in Hong Kong, but I think it felt like I had more time to myself and more time to spend with loved ones and everything. Whereas Hong Kong, I feel like there's this constant pressure, internal and external, to always be consistently working and kind of chasing the next thing. Whereas in Canada, I feel there were moments where it felt like it's okay to slow down and everyone else was kind of on the same page. And that's usually around, fall, winter season. Whereas here, it just feels like the grind never stops. Those are the questions for today. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to let me know in the comments. I'd be happy to answer them and do any more future Q&As. Thank you so much for 10K subs, for watching this video, for supporting my YouTube journey or on my other socials. I appreciate you guys so much. I never thought I would get to this point, but here we are, and it wouldn't be without you guys. So yeah, thank you, and thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time.
Nice.
I'm sweating. Oh my gosh.